welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I'm your host, Jeff Hootselle with Auditmacs. Tech Talk's a show we talk to people that are doing some really interesting things in technology. We hear about their stories and hear about some of the new things that are happening in the field of technology. So today, we are very lucky to have a great guest with us today. We've got Brice Garcia. Brice is with Acosta. He's their Senior VP of Infrastructure Solutions. So Brice, welcome. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So I've been reading about you in the paper here lately. I saw in the Jacksonville Business Journal recently, awarded you one of the tech leaders of the year.
They did.
So congratulations. That's great.
Thank you very much. Very appreciative and humbled by that recognition.
Yeah. So it's well deserved. I mean, Acosta, for those of you guys who aren't familiar, it's a pretty big organization. You guys have about 180 or so offices, 40,000 some employees.
Yeah, about 35,000 employees with 150 offices across the United States, Canada, as well as into the UK.
Yeah. So as you talk about doing things with digital transformation and some of the things that got you recognized, I mean, it's one thing to do those type of projects. It's nothing to do them at that scale that you're talking about today. So yeah, I'm interested, as you're going through that road and you're looking at some of these things to do that transformation, what were some of the biggest challenges you guys had there, or some of the things that you guys really thought about ahead of time to make those successful?
I'd say probably the number one challenge is considering the breadth of the transformation that we're going through for some of those projects. I would say it's the culture, changing the culture of the company.
Really?
In a lot of cases, yeah. Or just change in general. As most know, change is resisted.
Change is hard.
The business has been doing things a certain way for a while, and the introduction, I think, of that change and ensuring that everybody understands what you're trying to accomplish, why you're doing it, and everything, it becomes extremely important to the success of the project.
Yeah. So you guys work on that a lot. I mean, one thing from a technical side to do change,
yeah,
and the process that goes with that, but from a people side, so you talk about people understanding the change. Is getting that buy-in, is that kind of number one priority from the start, or having them understand how it impacts?
Well, ideally, from a senior level, we're getting buy-off before we even begin the project, obviously. And then what we generally try to do is drive that down through our business leaders into the organizations to reach to be able to reach so many people. I mean, you're changing systems that are being used by 35,000 people, right? So you can use so many different ways or vehicles to kind of communicate it, but if it doesn't have that senior level sponsorship, then it's not going to be successful.
Yeah, because I mean, you guys are doing things from Office 365 migrations and unified communications, network transformation. It's not a small task. The adoption side of things is one of the things we see a lot of companies really struggle with. It's one thing to say, hey, we have a great new technology, there's going to be all these benefits, but to really get people to embrace it and use it, is one of the things. Do you guys have kind of a process for that adoption side of how you get people to actually take it on and start using the tools?
Most of it, to be honest with you, obviously it's a lot of technical folks that are implementing the solution, but we have a strong partnership with our communications department and other groups across the organization that help us drive that. Okay. And one of the biggest things that they offer is an end user's perspective on kind of how best to communicate to the rest of the organization. From a technical perspective, I can talk to another technical person, and the way I communicate with them is very different than when I am dealing with someone who is not familiar with the technology. Right? So getting communications perspective as an end user and having them develop and partner with us on those communications is huge in that transformation.
So, and talk about from new technologies. So there's a lot of new stuff coming on. We just talked with Matthew Parks from Pace Center for Girls. He had just come back from a conference recently and talked about all the new stuff he's seeing. He's seeing things from augmented reality and AI and 5G and edge computing and all these big data applications that are available now. From an Acosta perspective, or just from your perspective, what do you see kind of on your roadmap for the next 12 months, 18 months that are really getting you guys excited that you see you can take advantage of?
So first and foremost, at the front is our security projects, right? And that's ever evolving. But from kind of an innovation perspective, there's obviously moves to the cloud happening all throughout our entire infrastructure. We have a huge partnership with Microsoft, with Azure. We have our ERP systems with Oracle and some other big providers providers. So making those leaps, I see a lot of companies doing that now.
Yeah.
The acceptance is clearly there. On a more innovative perspective, I would say the data platform we're developing is really relying a lot on artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So we are leveraging those technologies in order for our systems to kind of learn behaviors and be able to make recommendations for what we need to be doing in stores based on those behaviors.
Yeah, and that's all about speed, I guess, too, right? So it's one thing to have the data and analyze it, but if it takes you days and weeks and months to really have that be usable, it's almost outdated by the time you get to it.
That's exactly right. That's why, and having artificial intelligent technology to make those decisions for you is about as fast as it can get, right?
Yeah.
And that also is coupled with our partnership with Microsoft and Azure and using platform as a service to be able to ramp up demand and ramp down demand or I should say ramp down the systems
Sure.
in a quick fashion, right?
Okay. So what else? So what else should we know about what's happening with Acosta? Anything else exciting on the forefront from you guys from a services standpoint? You're in a lot of different areas.
Yeah.
What you're doing today. You've done a lot of investments.
Yeah. So again, a lot of our focus right now is on security projects.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a variety of different. We've just completed a rollout of dual factor authentication, which is a really important technology to keep our systems secure. I already mentioned the migrations to cloud-based systems. That's huge. Our transformation to O365 is large. But I mean, overall, I'd say for Acosta as a whole, it's really about beginning to lean on more innovative solutions rather than people thinking and artificial intelligence making decisions for our systems and being able to adapt quickly to our customers' needs.
Yeah, I mean, Brice, we've known each other for years.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen a lot of the stuff you guys have done, the leaps you've made to the company, and that they've done from an infrastructure standpoint. Obviously, the nomination, the award from the Business Journal was very well deserved.
Thank you.
We're proud to see the growth and success and stuff you guys have had. So congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And we always appreciate having you on the show. Thanks so much for joining us today. And thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. We'd love to have Brice on and other guests like him. So tune in next time, and we'll catch you again soon.